KiNoBi, Sakura, Hanami, 𝗧𝗊𝗹𝗺𝗁. There is a beauty in taking your time. Let's make the Japanese story. It's cocktail time. Hi friends of cocktails, or should I say, 𝗧𝗎𝗄𝗎. With today's cocktail, we'll be transported to Japan to enjoy Hanami, a world-famous cherry blossom viewing experience. Cherry blossom, or sakura, is Japan's unofficial national flower. These celebrated 3 varieties bloom for just a few days in the spring, attracting viewers from all around the world. The seasonal spectacle is at its peak in many cities across Japan as we are shooting this episode. So it seems only right to observe this breathtaking showcase of Japan's pride by creating a true Japanese cocktail, a martini with Japanese ingredients: gin, homemade vermouth, saline solution, and citrus perfume. I'm using KiNoBi, gin made from rice spirit, complemented by 5 regional botanicals: yellow yuzu, hinoki wood chips, bamboo, gyokuro tea, and green sancho berries. I'll pair it with this homemade Japanese edition of vermouth made with sake, soju, sakura green tea, kaffir lime leaf, green peppercorns, and of course, wormwood. Salt will be added to enhance the flavors, and on top, a spray perfume made with citrus unshio or Satsuma Mandarin. A bit more Japanese than the Japanese cocktail we made a few weeks ago, right? Let's start by making the vermouth. Vermouth is an aromatized fortified wine, flavored with various botanicals, including wormwood. In place of wine, I'll use sake, a fermented rice beverage. This one has 14.5 ABV. I'll fortify that with soju, a native Japanese spirit, typically distilled from rice, but barley, sweet potatoes, buckwheat, or brown sugar are also used. If I didn't have this, I'd just use gin. For the botanicals, I'll add sakura green tea for the floral note, kaffir lime leaf for the citrus note, green peppercorns for the spicy note, and wormwood for the bitter note. Sugar is there for the sweet note. I'll again use a sous vide, so I can control the time and temperature, taking a low and slow approach. So we keep the subtle note of sake in the final product. 4 hours at just 39 degrees Celsius or 102 degrees Fahrenheit. So into a sous vide bag, I'll add 200 milliliters or 6 3/4 ounce of Shirayuki sake. This is a dry style of sake and without any distilled alcohol added. That's great because it gives us more control over the fortification. Add 100 ml or 3 1/3 ounce of the Japanese spirit soju. This ratio will bring the final ABV of our vermouth to 18%. Next, 2 grams of sakura green tea. If you can find true sakura tea, that will probably give you even more of the cherry blossom notes we're looking for. Otherwise, this is a good option too. Follow that with 0.2 gram of dried kaffir or makrut lime leaves. This citrus fruit is native to tropical Southeast Asia and southern China. Its rind and crushed leaves emit an intense citrus fragrance, so it's used in Southeast Asian cuisine. For a hint of spice, 0.15 grams of green peppercorns. To ensure a better infusion, I'll crush them both slightly with a mortar and pestle. .1 gram of wormwood will be enough to give our Japanese vermouth a bit of bitterness and a hint of herbaceousness. And to balance the other components, 3 grams of plain white sugar. If you'll use a semi-dry sake, you can skip this step. Then all we have to do is vacuum seal the bag, making sure no liquid is breaking the seal. A double seal is never a bad idea. Then place the bag in the sous vide for the next 4 hours. If you don't have a sous vide yet, you can try making this with a classic 24-hour infusion in a sealed container at room temperature. Once that's done, it's time to cut open the bag, strain out all of the solids, and what we're finally left with is a Japanese-style vermouth. Bottle it, and as with any vermouth or wine-based aperitifs, always store it in the fridge. Now the last thing to prepare is the citrus perfume. We actually shot this part a few weeks ago. That's when Japanese Satsuma Mandarins were still in season, in late February. I wanted this cocktail to be as authentic as possible, but you can of course use regular mandarins and get a somewhat similar result. Or save this recipe and keep an eye out for citrus unshio or Satsuma Mandarins when they're back in season. You'll need 70 grams of mandarin peels and you'll soak them in about 90 ml of a high ABV spirit, something over 50% ABV. I'm aiming for 60% by mixing 60 ml or 2 ounces of 40% vodka with 30 ml or 1 ounce of Everclear, which is 96% alcohol. These, infused for at least 2 weeks, will extract mandarin aromas that will be stronger and longer lasting than if you just use something like vodka. Now, back to present time. When it's time to fine strain, check some YouTube comments and pour it into a spray bottle. The infusion could be done with a sous vide as well, to expedite the process, if you're in a rush. I was in no rush to make this, and I have to say, it turned out exceptional. Japanese philosophy of shankan-kan states that there is a beauty in taking your time. I hope you enjoyed the preparation of the ingredients. Now, let's make the Japanese story. As we always do when making a stirred cocktail, chill the mixing glass first. What we won't chill this time is the special cherry tree sake cup we'll serve this cocktail in. I'll make this cocktail like a perfect martini, equal parts of gin and vermouth, to make sure gin doesn't overpower our floral vermouth, 22.5 ml or 3/4 ounce of each. KiNoBi is named for beauty of the seasons, so it really is the perfect choice to mark the beautiful cherry blossom season. If you're not using a small sake cup, you can easily double the amounts I'm using, and as we often do, a drop of 20% saline solution, to enhance and bring out the best of the flavors. Then add plenty of ice and stir to chill and dilute. We want the cocktail to be really nice and cold, because it's this cold temperature that will make our cherry blossom sake cup bloom. Beautiful. To make it a spectacle for the nose as well, place a cherry blossom on the cocktail. And lastly, a spray of Satsuma Mandarin perfume, as a cherry on top, if you will. I haven't seen Japanese cherry blossoms in person yet, but I think this is a nice way to celebrate Hanami outside of Japan. Let's try it. Kanpai. A subtle floral aroma is just what you'd expect from a cocktail inspired by Hanami. Citrus perfume opens into a fresh and balanced martini cocktail, where gin complements but doesn't overpower the sake vermouth. Gentle spice from the peppercorns lingers into the aftertaste, and you'll keep coming back for more sips until you fulfill the Kanpai. Drink your cup dry. If anyone has had the pleasure of seeing sakura trees in bloom, let us know about the experience in the comments. I'll be back next week, and we'll take a look at the history of a true classic cocktail. Sayonara!